Welcome to the Goldbridge live stream. It's Friday afternoon. It's one of my favourite shows of the week. It's the Premier League preview, and I'm wearing my glasses to make me come across as more knowledgeable. Although I am knowledgeable, and there is going to be a big loss shock this weekend. Guarantee it. There will be one, and I'll be talking about that in a minute. And it'll be one of the big clubs. So I'm not talking about Arsenal, because if they lose, it's no surprise, and they're no longer a big club. Oh, I do give it to Arsenal a lot, don't I? And Hazard. But let's start off, Manchester United. It's the biggest game of the week. I've obviously done it all on the United stand, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much. But Manchester United against Wolves, I'm going to go 2-0 in that one. I think if you are having a bet this weekend, which we do sort of talk about a little bit, or you're doing your fantasy Premier League or stuff like that, I think Manchester United versus Wolves is a very, very hard one to pick. And I think because if it was Wolves going to Anfield or it was Wolves going to Arsenal, they'd definitely win. But if it was Wolves going anywhere, any of the top six, I think they can cause a problem. But I do just think it might just go to type. And I think that United will come out on top in that game. So looking at other fixtures, the way that it's going to run, you've got Manchester City away to Cardiff. Again, I said last week that Cardiff shouldn't even bother travelling down to Chelsea. And I was right, even though they went 1-0 up. I would also go as far as to say that Cardiff should just basically try and get hold of Pep tonight. And say, look, Pep, fancy a weekend off. We'll give you the 3 points. Shall we arrange, let's just say it's 3-0. Give it a Sergio Aguero hat-trick or something like that. But yes, Man City are going to smash Cardiff, aren't they? I mean, Man City, probably the worst result Cardiff could have hoped for, really, that Lyon beating Manchester City, because they will bounce back and they will beat Cardiff. And I would go as heavy as saying maybe 3 or 4-0 with that one. I really do think that they will get smashed. Lunchtime kickoff tomorrow is boring. It's Fulham versus Watford. Or is it? Actually, you know what? I've been a little bit premature there. A little bit like a Liverpool fan thinking they're going to win the title. That could come back and bite me. But, you know, you think you're going to win it every year, don't you? Maybe this year it might be a little bit different, but you do. You are quite premature. Fulham Watford tomorrow lunchtime traditionally would be a crap fixture. You'd look at that and go, I'm not watching that. But a lot has changed. Yes, Watford lost to Manchester United last week, and then he said Wolves. But they've still got 12 points. I believe. And they have won 4, lost 1. So if Watford were to beat Fulham, then that would be a good result for them. Fulham, on the other hand, doing okay. They're doing all right and still settling into the league. They're not far off the bottom themselves, Fulham, with 4 points. But you know what? I'm not even going to be controversial here. I think that Fulham are going to win that game. I think they'll win it. I think I'm going to go 2-1 with Fulham. Chelsea will not lose to West Ham, says Hung Vincent. Okay, I'll come back to that. In fact, Hung Vincent, let's just smash into it. Chelsea are going to be the big loss this weekend. They're going to lose to West Ham. That is my tip of the weekend, that they will lose. Liverpool are going to beat Southampton. United are going to beat Wolves. City are going to beat Chelsea. West Ham. Cardiff. I think Spurs Brighton, I want to talk about that in a minute. Arsenal will win whoever they're playing because they're playing someone crap at home. But I think that this is where Chelsea drop points, and this is where Liverpool fans get even more excited. If they couldn't get even more giddy, they will actually be moving ahead into the high positions of being top of the league in their own right this weekend. Instead of being joint top with Chelsea, or they're not even top at the moment, Chelsea are top with goal difference. I think Liverpool will be top with a 100% record and 18 points come Sunday night, and Chelsea will not be top because they will lose to West Ham. I'm sorry, Chelsea fans. I know it hurts, but you can put as many capital letters as you like, Hung Vincent, but Chelsea are going to lose. It's my show. That's my prediction. But I think Fulham will beat Watford. Bournemouth. That's 3 points for Bournemouth, which would put Bournemouth comfortably into the top 4, I would say, with 13 points. But Burnley are terrible. Although this is the sort of game that if you're a Burnley fan, you might actually grind out a result for once. I mean, you're rubbish, but maybe Bournemouth coming all the way up from down south. They're not, they've got not got many fans, Bournemouth. They're not a very rich club. I think they've got to get 2 trains to get there. They're setting off now. They'll probably be quite tired by the time to get Burnley. So maybe Burnley can rough them up with some long ball and physical, old school, Tony Pulis, Wimbledon, you know what I mean, that sort of football, and grind down the southern softies of Bournemouth. Maybe that could happen, but realistically, Bournemouth should win it in all seriousness. But maybe Burnley could grind them down. But I'm going to go with a Bournemouth win of 2-0 because Burnley are rubbish. Cardiff City, I've got history with Burnley, by the way. If you're a Burnley fan, just watch my FIFA streams. Cardiff, Man City, we've done that. Crystal Palace, Newcastle. Newcastle are in a bit of bother at the moment. Can't wait for Manchester United to play them because that's an easy 3 points, which will do us really good at the moment. So Newcastle are currently second to bottom with 1 point, and Crystal Palace are doing okay. They're doing okay. They're 12th with 6 points. So a nice win for Crystal Palace. They'll beat Newcastle. Newcastle are very, very bad. And I would say 2-0 Crystal Palace there. Leicester, Huddersfield. I'm going to be really horrible and rude here. This Premier League has got a lot of crap in it, hasn't it? It really is. I mean, you try to get excited about Palace, Newcastle, Burnley, Bournemouth. I mean, Fulham, Watford's not bad. But there's another one. Leicester, Huddersfield. I mean, God. I'm glad Leeds are doing well for once. We need to get Leeds up. We need to get Sheffield Wednesday up. We need to get Aston Villa up. We need to get some of the old traditional clubs. Even where I'm from, we need to get Forest up as well. Get some old traditional Premier League clubs in this league and get rid of some of these boring fixtures. Leicester, mid-table against Huddersfield, who are in the bottom 3. So who's at home? Leicester. Right, Leicester are going to win that 2-0. Move on. Liverpool, Southampton. Okay, so Liverpool are going to win this one. I would say anywhere between 1 and 5-0. Take your pick, but they will win. In fact, I would go over 3 goals in this game, so I'm going to go 3-0. That's not over 3 though, is it? 3-1 or 4-0. I think Liverpool will smash them. The worrying thing for Southampton is that Mark Hughes is not a great manager. And Salah's angry. You don't want to see Salah when he's angry. He's Egypt's maddest man at the moment. He's furious. I mean, I must just say, I did tweet this the other day. The press in this country is something that makes me laugh quite a lot. But the way when he threw his water bottle on the floor, they were like, "Oh, we weren't happy about that goal." Even though his initial reaction was celebration, he's just a top sportsman. He was annoyed because he was at fault for the equaliser for PSG. And I think he was annoyed that he got took off when he's been their big player. And I think he was just frustrated with himself. He's clearly not frustrated with Liverpool. And I expect a reaction. On top of that, I think Mane's arguably the best player in the league at the moment. Firmino's scoring for fun. Their midfield has got so many options in it. And the scary thing about Liverpool's midfield is that Milner and Henderson and Wijnaldum played really well. But they've got Keita and Fabinho as new signings. And when you've got that sort of situation, 5 players going for 3 spots, everyone knows they've got to be on their game, which can only benefit them. Their centre-backs are doing well, their keeper's settling in, their full-backs are bombing forward. I mean, there's not a lot for Southampton to grab hold of here. I mean, I'm not living up Liverpool's arse by any means. It's just because of who their opposition is. I'm talking about Liverpool's strengths. If Liverpool were playing City, I wouldn't be going, "Oh, City have got no chance." I think it'd be a good game. But in the context of Southampton, 0 chance, and Liverpool will win that comfortably. They really will. They'll just be scouting Southampton players, says Stephen. I don't think they even need to anymore, Stephen. But yeah, Mane or Hazard at the moment, says Raheem. Definitely Mane. Southampton went down quickly, hill quickly. They had a good team a few seasons ago. They got relegated last year, didn't they? Let me just get rid of Connor Richardson. You'll have to set yourself up with another account now, mates. And Mark Hughes is a good manager, better than the 2 that the Saints had. And Ultrachloric Bleach says, Roberto Firmino looks like my friend's mum. He's an odd-looking fellow. Yeah, I've heard some of the stuff on Twitter. He gets called a lesbian and all sorts, doesn't he? Poor bloke. I'll tell you what. He's doing bits at the moment, isn't he? He's doing well. Manchester United, Wolves have done that. Brighton and Spurs is one that I find quite interesting because obviously Brighton beat Manchester United, but United were terrible that day. I think Brighton will go down. So if you put Spurs to drop points, they obviously are very tired at the moment, but I think Spurs will win this game. So I'm going to go Spurs to win 2-1. Spurs aren't as bad as some people want to say. They have consistently, for the last 2 years, got decent results that people don't expect them to do. I just think they look very tired and lethargic at the moment. But I think they'll have enough to beat Brighton. So I'm going to go 2-1 with that. It'll be all right in Brighton. And then on Sunday, you've got West Ham versus Chelsea and Arsenal versus Everton. Now, I'd love to see Everton beat Arsenal, but Arsenal are going through a bit of a renaissance at the moment. They're fighting for sixth, and they ain't letting it go. And I think that they will have enough for Everton, who, funnily enough, I think Everton were looking quite good up until last weekend when they lost. Did they lose or did they draw? They definitely didn't win a game that they should have done. And I don't think Everton will travel well. So I think Arsenal will win that one. They're on a bit of a high at the moment. Of course, Europa League can be a problem. The Europa League is a problem, and it can be a problem. But I don't know whether it will be a problem so early on in the season. It tends to be around March time that can really hit home. So I think Arsenal will win that again. Probably go 2-1 Arsenal with that one. And then West Ham Chelsea. Look, West Ham have got the mighty Man United coming to town next week. They've got to get a result in this one. They've got to get a result against their posh London opposition. So EastEnders, Danny Dyer, and anything else to do with West Ham. When I'm cleaning windows, West Ham are going to win this game. Of course, it's at West Ham, so that's problematic because West Ham at home are not very good. But they've got Chelsea at home, then they've got United at home in the next 2 games. And I'll guarantee you now, they're not going to take nil points from them. And I think United will beat them. So Chelsea, I mean, maybe, it might be a draw, but I really do think that Chelsea are going to get turned over by West Ham. You know what's going to happen now. Chelsea will turn up with Sarri ball and win 4-0. But I've got a funny feeling that this could be problematic for Chelsea because of the Europa League as well. Little bit of fatigue. West Ham, I think it was West Ham who beat Everton last week, actually, wasn't it? So, yeah, I think it'll work. I think it's going to work for West Ham, and that's my big tip for the weekend, that Chelsea will drop points, which means Liverpool will be out in front on their own on Sunday night as title winners in September. Top of the league, really. Can you do a weekly roundup of your previous week's predictions, says Vince Chapman. I'd love to. Maybe I can do that next week because I can't remember what I did last week. Roberto Firmino is irreplaceable for Liverpool. He's world class, says Lalupatu. I'm doing a little bit of a lazy Liverpool there. Instead of doing all the spit and everything like that, I'm just doing a little bit of trying to be posh Liverpool. So yeah, I mean, Salah this weekend, he'll do quite well, I think. Stop getting me to do accents. Mark, Spurs going to win, says Dia. I think they will. Liverpool will win. Yes, we've said this. Stop stating the obvious, just for a shout out. They agreed to pay 20 million at the end of the loan, says Scouse Gaming. Don't know what he's on about. But it's looking good for Liverpool this weekend. I think they will be top come Saturday, Sunday night. I think Chelsea are going to drop points. City will bounce back, smashing Cardiff, who isn't going to do that this season. We're stating the obvious. I think even Newcastle might beat Cardiff. Spurs, I think you'll get a result. Yeah, I think Spurs will get a result. I think Arsenal, Spurs, hopefully Spurs are going to finish above them. Arsenal will get a result. Why don't I like Arsenal? Right? Do you know why I don't like Arsenal? Because they've got enough gobby fans gobbing off. And they don't do any favours, do they? I mean, people say I'm a bad representation of a Manchester United fan. But Manchester United fans, there's millions of them. And I just do a Manchester United fan channel. I don't represent Manchester United fans. But there are some Arsenal fans out there who just gob off all the time. And they wonder. And then Arsenal fans wonder why they get bantered so much. It's because of them and their big gobs talking about the Europa League being brilliant. And how, I don't even want to get into it. But reality is, I think Arsenal will win at the weekend. So sit down. And I just want to apologise and explain why I was a little bit late today. I was meant to be live at 2:30. I went to have a shave. And as you can see, I started off there and then the battery went because I haven't done this side under here yet and I've got to do all this. So I was late and I was like, well, people might notice, which you haven't done because I've been talking like that a lot. But that's why I was late. So a little bit of an exclusive at the end. Look, I'll be honest with you as well. United could well be a game to drop points tomorrow. I'm living in positivity street. And because if United did drop points tomorrow, we're back where we were after Brighton and Spurs, and people will be melting down, and all this little momentum we're building will crash down. So I think United will win tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that we will. I did say that we beat Spurs though, and that didn't work out well. Please do drop a like on the video, everybody. Smash that like and subscribe if you are new to my channel. Lots going on. We're getting very close to 20,000 subscribers. When we get to 20,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a live 20k Q&A with all social media. I'm going to do Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all at the same time, and post-it notes by pigeons. Everything. We're going to do the whole lot. So make sure you subscribe and spread the word. And of course, next week, FIFA's back because FIFA's out on PS4, which is when I can start playing. Can't wait for that. But thanks, everyone, for watching. And I shall speak to you later on the United Stand at 8 o'clock. Or we'll have stuff over the weekend on here. There's bound to be something. But I shall speak to you soon. Thanks, everyone. She was only 18 years old. She was only 16 years old, Master Wayne. She was only 16 years old. I will not watch you die, Batman. I will not watch you die, Batman. I will not watch you die, Batman. I will not. She was only 16. I told you to blow the bloody doors off. She was only 16 years old. I will not watch you die, Batman. Trying to do Michael... My glasses makes me think Michael Caine. I'll have to listen back to that myself. Speak to you all later.